Welcome, everybody, into the Heat Press for Profit podcast. We are broadcasting live all over the internet and, of course, on all of your favorite podcast streaming platforms. My name is Dave, and I am so thrilled to be here for episode 91 of the Heat Press for Profit podcast, sponsored by Stalls. I do have to say, if you are not already a member of the Heat Press for Profit Facebook group, go over there right now and join the community of apparel decorators and heat printers and custom printing extraordinaires that make up that community there over on Facebook. Absolutely phenomenal people there, and the ability to get help day or night and hear all of these diverse perspectives in the industry, right? For small decorators or even large commercial decorators, and the success of how they are really bringing apparel decorating to their customers, right? For solutions, as well as all of those little tricky issues that even pros like us sometimes get caught up on. And I will say too that myself am a participating member of that community as well. So if you ever want a direct line, it's right there in the community. But all of our experts here at Stalls are in there, and the common questions or the challenges, right, that we see in the industry, we note all of this to bring solutions to you, just like this podcast, or over on our YouTube channels. If you're not already subscribed to the Transfer Express YouTube channel or the Stalls TV YouTube channel, we're dropping new content on those channels every single week. You may even be listening to the podcast right now, joining us live over on our YouTube channel, right? So lots of information in there, all the education, and just like the title of this podcast, right? What's new in heat printing, innovations and insights for 2025. Really, it should be what's new in apparel decorating, because we're going to even go a little bit beyond just the heat press, right? But I have to say that in the past couple months, we really kicked 2025 off with a bang. And if you are here listening live and we're at either the PPAI Expo, the ASI Expo, or even Impressions out in Long Beach, drop us a line, drop a little chat right here, wherever you're tuning in from, and let us know. And also, if you have any of your own questions, right? These podcasts are built to inspire and help you as a decorator succeed, whether you're just in production and you're pressing up a whole bunch of orders here this afternoon, or listening late at night or on a drive or whatever it may be. We want to be able to help you. Please don't text and drive if you are listening and driving right now. So you get the free pass for not joining in the conversation. But we have a ton to go over today. Just kind of taking all of the experiences from what I saw, the hundreds of decorators that I talk to, and just the curiosity that I have myself in the printing industry. If you're just joining us live for the first time here now, my name is Dave. I've been with Stalls and Transfer Express now for about 5 years, but I've been in the decorating industry for well over 15 years now, learning how to screen print on my kitchen table and working through several different large commercial screen printing shops. So I have quite the diverse experience in the way it relates to putting ink on any substrate. And I love sharing the mistakes that I've made along the way so that other decorators don't have to make them. The stories that I hear from other decorators, just like we'll talk about here today with a few decorators in particular, as well as just the industry trends of what we see. So just want to make sure we got through all of our housekeeping here at the top of the show. And yeah, we got a big list to get into, so we're going to try to keep this brief. But if you have questions of your own, comments, insights, maybe challenges, or you want to just drop a goal that you have for 2025, let us know, because we love keeping the conversation going. And yeah, we want to help you out. We want to see your business thrive. That's one of my favorite parts of going to shows, is seeing decorators year after year talking about strategies they implemented for success, new markets maybe they branched out to, new confidence in their capabilities that really kind of unlocks that sales or revenue potential that otherwise they weren't necessarily having in mind before the year started. And so I love hearing those, love hearing from you out there. So be sure to drop us a line either on the Facebook group, on any of the YouTube channels in the comment section there, or of course the community that's out there on Facebook. The Easy Prints Decorators group is more Transfer Express specific. If you're used to working with Transfer Express and utilizing goof proof or screen printed transfers there. But let's jump right in to what we've seen in the industry here. And right off the bat, have to talk about just the absolute insane adoption of heat printing technology in the apparel decorating industry. I've been going to shows now for quite some time, and many years, and I have never seen more heat presses and heat transfers utilized across the entire show floor, from the lobby activations, right, where they're heat printing shoes, right, or bags, t-shirts, accessories, socks, right? Heat printing has really kind of over the past several years become a very important part of any apparel decorator's repertoire, right? Where it used to just be, oh yeah, there's a heat press in the corner of the screen printing shop. That no, the heat press department has its own department now, just like it is embroidery or screen printing. And I think while there's a lot of advancements in heat transfer technology, direct to film is really the one that I feel like kind of blew the doors open here. And we're gonna touch on direct film here specifically a little bit more in depth in a minute. But it's wild to see education that we have at these shows in the conference section of, say, Impressions Expo, where so many decorators who have been in the industry with embroidery or maybe screen printing are learning how to successfully leverage the heat printing department. I always like to talk about a good friend of mine, Justin Leader, out in Salt Lake City, Utah, right? Justin has JC Pro Design. He's the owner there. Started it 6 or 7 years ago, maybe now at this point. And has just grown exponentially year after year. Of course, commercial screen printing abilities, but with a very versatile heat press department that now has expanded out of the office I always talk about. But when we were there last year in Salt Lake City, he had 4 or 5, maybe 6 heat presses all in a spare office. That was just a revenue generating powerhouse, right? And so the small footprint that heat presses take up and the large expansive capabilities, whether it is printing the accessories or the golf polos or, printing on hoods that have the double lining, mesh shorts, right? The stuff that you would never typically be able to produce any other way, you're able to easily, efficiently, and profitably decorate with heat transfers. And with quality, of course, we have to talk about quality equipment is what's going to set you apart in that quality as well. As we get into direct to film becoming quite the talk of the town, there is kind of a race to bottom on price, right? And as decorators in the industry, we all know that like this race to the bottom necessarily isn't beneficial for a lot of people, where we're minimizing profit margins. And I think a lot of decorators that I talk to out there are undervaluing their services as it relates to the goods going out the door, where they're kind of leaving profit on the table. And if any of you out there listening right now are in similar scenarios or similar situations, please let us know, because it is definitely an ongoing conversation. I love to hear different perspectives of it, where, typically our regular consumers shopping for things are very, they're very focused on price. They want to make sure they're getting a good value of it. Or if, your end customer here is reselling, that they essentially need to bake in profit for themselves while still maintaining a retail rate, right? Like I work with, and I got into the printing industry working with a lot of bands and brands around the music industry, right? So they wanted to maximize that profit margin at the end of the day at the merch booth, right? But, now in today's day and age, I've talked to a lot of decorators who feel maybe threatened in a way by anybody being able to essentially purchase direct to film transfers and pull some of their business, right? But there are ways that we could talk about it, and that's kind of be the first thing here on our list. Is that's that first challenge that I've talking to decorators, even promo products distributors, who are saying, hey, we've seen some erosion on apparel because people are shopping around and using somebody that they know who maybe has a heat press in just a spare bedroom as an entrepreneur and at-home business. And there may be many of you right now out there that are entrepreneurs or just starting a t-shirt business from home, or maybe adapting more heat printing technology into your otherwise screen printing setup, right? But I want to talk about some things that are going to help you. And this is from talking to real decorators and what we've seen in the industry and what I've learned over the past 15 years in the industry, because the shop that I was working at when the big Cricut wave hit, right? Like a lot of people being able to get Cricuts at home and start decorating apparel, which honestly, as a creative myself, I love it, right? I love people getting creative, leveraging their passions for any creative venture like art and design. And even a conversation that I was having at the Impressions Expo with the guys from Street Warehouse, right? Where it's like everybody collects t-shirts, right? I don't know if there's a single person that I know who doesn't have graphic t-shirts somewhere in their repertoire, whether it's just branded apparel like I'm wearing right now, or I have tons of band tees that I've collected over the years. And they are the most commonly collected form of artwork, right? We all don't have Monets hanging on the walls or Picassos or collecting like paintings, right? But we all collect art as t-shirts. And that to me is just wonderful. And I encourage anybody who has that passion to kind of bring it to life, whether it's a side hustle or whether it's just a hobby, right? Like that's awesome. But as apparel decorators or starting businesses that maybe are in crowded markets already, there are ways that you could stand out fairly easily, and leveraging, number one, quality is one way to stand out above the board. But there's a few other things other than quality, right? When we talk about quality, there's consistency. When we are talking about applications that look the same, or somebody comes back and gets a reorder for a team or a school in branded colors, you want to ensure that that consistency is there. The quality of the product, the quality of the blank is consistent, and that's all going to help build this trust, right? I always come back to the apparel decorating industry, and us as apparel decorators are certainly built on a level of trust. And many of the print shops that I've worked at over the years require payment in full upfront before any work is started. So that's something that customer needs to feel confident that you are going to bring their vision to life. They come with you with an idea. Sometimes they don't even have artwork, right? Where it's, hey, I have this idea, I want you to bring it to life. And you're trusted in doing that, whether it's through the design or just bringing their logo to life on printed apparel, right? But you need to have them to be able to trust you. And I think there are ways that you could do that by leveraging transparency in your communications, right? So like, first off, when you're talking about like solutions, right? I always like to ask like why, and get out of that transactional mindset and really start to help your customer connect with their customers on that more emotional level, right? Even if it's like corporate logo wear and they're like, we just want some bare bones basic tees to put on our landscaping company employees. That's like, okay, cool. Hey, let me leverage some of my expertise and know that, hey, you guys are working outside in the summer, it's very hot. How about some performance wear? Asking those questions about budget, right? Where it's like, some people might just, no, I want the cheapest 100% cotton. These shirts are going to get thrashed, but that's now that conversation that you're starting to open up. Hey, I know some great styles that are going to be able to fit your budget while they're also going to be comfortable to wear, or maybe they're going to be a little bit more durable so you don't have to order as often, right? You start to connect the dots and really start to solve the problems for your customers. And when you do that, you're building value in you, your services, the quality of your product, whatever it may be, where price becomes much less of a part of the conversation, right? So now you're not racing to the bottom on price. You're building a core customer base that, number one, is going to love working with you. I still get people all the time who come and start talking to me. Hey, I got referred by so-and-so. They said you do band t-shirts, right? I don't really even market that I do band t-shirts. I don't really even market that I do printing anymore because I don't have the time, right? Where it's like, and that's another thing we'll talk about too, is that time seems to be at an all-time shortage for a lot of decorators too, in building some of those efficiencies in, right? But when you position yourself as an expert in your market or niche, and you could really hammer down with the solutions that are going to bring value to your customers, that's where you're really going to start to kind of stand out and win. Now, of course, another way that you could stand out and win is a diverse product offering, right? Where maybe somebody who's just getting started is really only limited to t-shirts, maybe hoodies, but offering bags, accessories, headwear, and all that complete picture, right? The full solution. Hey, you're doing some corporate logo wear for your landscaping company. We'll just keep using this example, right? Where it's, have you thought about some custom hats, right? Everybody loves custom hats, and they're going to wear them even when they're not working. Now it becomes a marketing promotional tool for you, right? Start advertising the brand and services even when they're off the job site. Maybe some jackets, some outerwear for those landscaping companies working into the longer months. This is all stuff you have to talk about. I was just talking with my buddy who's doing some band t-shirts, and hey, you guys, here in Ohio, we have the islands out on Lake Erie, which are pretty much fun to be on for 60 days in the summer when it's nice here in Ohio. But knowing that you guys are going to go out there and play a whole bunch of gigs, what about getting some tank tops or bucket hats? And yeah, absolutely, right? It starts to really complete that picture, helps you understand your customer, right? And when that experience is so great, they become a marketing asset for you. So you don't have to go out, right, and get new customers. They're actually going to go attract customers for you by just being ecstatic about the services, and just working with you, the whole experience of it, right? And I say customers a lot, and I like to put this into perspective in a way of, customers are very much transactional, right? Like, I go to the convenience store at the end of the street because I need to buy a candy bar, whatever it may be, right? I'm going in there. It becomes a relationship when I start talking with them, right? They ask me questions, even like, hey, how's your day going? Hey, haven't seen you in a while. Hey, how's your daughter doing? Right? Like all that stuff that starts to become much more than just here's money, right? And you could start to build that. But that's when I say customers turn into clients, right? Where clients have a relationship with you, clients are going to be continuously coming back for you, and they will advocate for you. I've been in marketing in the print industry for a very long time now, and I know, right, in the print industry, in any industry, it is expensive to go out and get new customers, whether that's time of yours, right? Not an actual financial expense, but as small business owners, we need to be monetizing our time, right? And starting to manage every little second, right? Because it starts to add up, and that's essentially the profit right there, right? But say we're just investing time, we're not going to spend anything. Maybe we might spend some stuff making some samples that we could go out with, but we're just pounding the pavement. Our niche is local businesses in our area, right? And you have to invest so much time to go and meet with people, talk with people. Maybe you need to invest that time to just do online marketing, right? If you're a niche that could target out on the internet, whether it be Facebook, Facebook groups, or even marketplaces like Etsy, right? Maybe you have your own Shopify store, right? You have to put marketing things in place to be able to go and acquire new customers, and that's an expense. It's always more expensive to get new customers than it is to keep your current customers happy and even possibly generate more revenue from your existing customers with some of those other solutions, right? You're working for the local library, they're doing t-shirts for an event. Hey, have you guys ever thought about tote bags? It's only going to cost X amount to add these on, right? And that's when you start to bundle, you start to put these kits together, you start to add so much value to your services and be that one-stop shop, that expert opinion that they're always going to want to go back to. Because anybody, right? Anybody right now could just go online to Google and type in I need custom t-shirts. And whoever is the highest bidder of the national companies that are out there are going to show up first, right? And, yes, absolutely. I'm not going to say like anybody who just wants to buy t-shirts in your local area, not worth working with them. No, it very well totally may be, right? But if they're shopping on price alone, it's a slippery slope, right? But there's ways like we talked about where you could start to build value in that even before you talk about pricing. But I know being a decorator myself, it is all the time that people come in and just, hey, how much is it going to cost for this? Right. And that's when I start asking questions. Well, what's your budget? Who is this for? What kind of quantity are you looking for? Do you have any garments in mind? Do you have artwork files already? Right. Even just asking those questions, if you're just getting started, that's going to help you stand out so much more than just, the guy down the street with an Amazon heat press uh, and some cheap direct to film transfers from the lowest price out there on the internet. I will also say the lowest price direct to film transfers I have tried. Not all DTF is created equal, and I've seen way too many horror stories for decorators there. But we have a whole section to get into on direct to film. Went off on a tangent there for some decorator success, and I'm going to try to follow my notes as much as I can through here. But of course, if you know me, we're going to go off on some tangents. We'll talk about some experiences, but it's all here to help you guys out. I see Darren in the chat here asking from YouTube, from Topeka, Kansas, and Firehouse Inc. You could always shout out your business name. Love to kind of highlight some decorators out there today. And he's asking, are you going to be at DAX Kansas City? I know Stalls will be. I am not going to Kansas City, but I know Kelly Walters, if you're familiar with our presenters here at Stalls, and Mia Lockett will be there. So go see Kelly and Mia. They will be out in Kansas City, I just believe next week, a little bit later this month. But as we talk about shows, and of course, like the decorators and the things that I've seen at shows here this year, if you haven't been to a trade show, an expo, the Impressions Expos, right? Long Beach just happened a couple weeks ago, which there was a huge announcement there on the kind of Stalls Hoptronics side. And so you get the latest and greatest innovations of what you see in the industry. You also see the latest trends of what's coming out with apparel blank suppliers, and you get to get hands-on with products, right? If you're looking at adopting a new technology, you could get hands-on with it. If you're looking at picking up a new heat press, you pretty much have every different kind there, from the air-powered pneumatic models, the dual stations, the auto clam, where it is more of an efficient press and a small space-saving design. Even the manual presses, like the Max press, you could get your hands on to see what's going to be best for your business. And my favorite part of all of these shows is honestly the connections that you make with people. Either they're on the trade show floor, they're in the classroom after a session, just walking through the hallways. I always encourage everybody just to say, hi, hello, I'm so-and-so from so-and-so. And, how are you doing? Where are you from? What are you looking forward to at this event? And you're going to start to connect with so many people. You could find a mentor, or even if you're looking at like partnering up, like I'm running at capacity. I don't know if I want to hire somebody. I want somebody I could trust to outsource to. Oh, I just met this guy who's in a couple towns over here at the event. There is magic that happens at these shows, not just the Impressions Expo. I love the Impressions Expos throughout the year in California, which already happened, Atlantic City, which is coming up in the end of March. So that's a great show to come to as well. And then Texas, which I believe is usually in Fort Worth, but in Dallas this year because the Fort Worth Convention Center is under construction. But Printing United, right? I mentioned PPAI out in Las Vegas, especially if you're in the promotional products market, or if you're a distributor of custom apparel and not actually decorating, right? Which kind of brings me to the next point when we talk about distributors. It's crazy to see how much heat printing is being adopted in-house for distributors that otherwise would always say like, oh no, I don't actually decorate. I work with a network of decorators. But as customers' buying habits change, right? As we start to look at e-commerce, as we start to look at, headwear in these minimal pieces, the smaller quantities, every business seems to be kind of pinching pennies as we go. And so those huge runs, right, of, oh, we used to buy 500 hats for the year, now turns into maybe 2 or 3 smaller orders of 50, 100 hats, right, as needed. Or they want to sell them online in that kind of like Amazon model, right? But when customers are asking for, hey, could I get the 12, 24 hats? I want to do a small run. You absolutely can with heat transfers. And seeing distributors get so excited about actually bringing some decoration in-house, the profit potential that is, right? Of course, it's very easy to outsource a lot, but you outsource a little bit of those profits too. So being able to say yes to more customers on any quantity or almost any product with a lot of those promo products distributors that I talked to at PPAI were like, I picked up one of these Hotronics 360 cap presses just to do small minimum quantity runs, right? And if you haven't heard, the minimum quantities actually from stalls for the dimensional emblems and patches is down to just 12 now. So it makes those smaller runs more accessible than ever. And for a limited time, especially for those of you listening live, you could get that 12 quantity at the 25 quantity price, right? So there is no big quantity break, or it's more expensive at the lower quantity, at least for right now. So if you're looking at trying to pitch a customer, right, you could always get the samples on some of those styles, but now with the lower quantity runs, you could do a full run of 12, right? And it's a little bit less risk for your customers. And those are going to lead to higher value. I do want to mention that it's just the woven patches right now and PVC that are not available in that 12 quantity, but all the other dimensional patch and emblem styles from, the flex style or flex embroidery are available in those lower quantities. So that's really cool to be able to check out, and a good, good kind of tool to have in your pocket. But we see so many distributors using that on the fanny packs, the belt bags, right? The hip packs, whatever you want to call them, right? I call them fanny packs because I'm a kid of the 90s, right? Grew up in the 90s when they first came around and were real cool. And so they're still fanny packs to me, but we see those rising everywhere, right? And especially as it comes to branded merchandise for brands and even local businesses that are bringing that on. So I know even like our trade show team distributed some belt bags a couple years ago with a PVC patch on it, right? Branded, because it's always nice to have the essentials nearby, or just keep things out of your pocket. So they're great to have for shows, and I use mine all the time, right? So, but it's just like that, right? Where you could take some of those experiences or some of the samples that you get at these events and be able to use them as those showroom pieces for your customers to help connect those dots and just really bring the solutions to life. But before we get too deep on that and move on, I do also want to mention Graphics Pro Expo, a great trade show to be able to attend, as well as the Decorated Apparel Expo, like Darren was mentioning over on YouTube. That is all over the entire country. I think, don't quote me, but I may be going to the Decorated Apparel Expo in May, or in the Nashville area in Tennessee, right? So lots of education at those shows as well. And you really do get to ask your questions and come with a full list. Sometimes it could be overwhelming when you go to a trade show for the first time to see all of the solutions, and maybe you've registered for some education classes too. So trying to balance the whole day, but make sure you make your checklist of what you want to be able to see, the vendors you want to talk to, and the samples that you want to get, because you could get it all there on site. They're great to attend. If you haven't been to one, be sure to get out to one, right? So that big announcement that I mentioned at the Impressions Expo in Long Beach that was just a couple weeks ago was in fact that the Stampinator is coming into the Hotronics family and will be manufactured by Hotronics. And if you're unfamiliar with what the Stampinator is, it's really built, and it's been around for a couple years now. I met Jeff, who essentially invented it, and great guy, incredibly brilliant, right? But he was so stoked about the partnership now with Hotronics, manufacturing it here in the United States and Pennsylvania, and the quality of heat application that Hotronics is known for, right? The cast end heating element that's big and thick. It retains the heat like a cast iron skillet. It is razor flat and smooth, right? So you get that even, firm pressure across the entire printing area that really kind of elevates the Stampinator and the solution that it provides to screen printers, and of course those looking to use heat transfers. I got to give a big shout out to Mike and Maggie down at Swell Inc. in North Carolina, who originally kind of opened my eyes to the potential of the Stampinator. I know those folks down at Swell Inc. Absolutely love the Stampinator because they do a lot of screen printing. And when I was talking to Mike, he said we use it on just about any print that we do. So if you're unfamiliar, the Stampinator is essentially a heat press that replaces a flash unit where it would go on a screen printing press, like an automatic carousel screen printing press. And it could be used as a flash unit, but we see a lot of decorators use it to stamp underbases. So while you print a white underbase on the shirt, it will stamp it down, mat the fibers down, and allow you to print with such crisp, detail and registration right on top of that for some absolutely incredible prints. I have one. I did have it in my office, but I've been wearing it, which is a really super detailed Stampinator. It's an actual picture of a Stampinator on the shirt that I picked up at Long Beach, but the hand feel of it feels absolutely incredible, and the print fidelity is so incredible, right? So for those screen printers out there who want to make their prints better, have a little bit more luck printing with those underbases, and really getting the nice rich colors, and those nice, smooth, great feeling prints. The Stampinator is definitely one way to go, especially for like hoodies or fleece, where you typically have those fibers standing up a little bit more than like a combed ring spun cotton face. So that's what it's really great for. But my friends at Swell Ink also kind of opened my eyes to it being used to be a absolute heat transfer application powerhouse, right? So essentially, with it installed on your automatic carousel press, now you have a rotary heat press for super high capacity. So, the example that they showed me was, hey, here is we needed 5,000 tote bags. They do a lot of professional motorsports printing, right? And it's all quick turn. Some of it's not quick turn, but a lot of it is quick turn for events with hard deadlines, right? So it was, hey, we need this full color graphic on thousands. I think it was like 5,000 or 6,000 tote bags, right, for an event. And on their heat press department, they're like, yeah, no way. Or absolutely, we could do it, but no way this is going to make sense when we have on-demand orders to fulfill and get out the door. It's going to bog down the entire department. Let's put them on the oval press or put them on the carousel press, right? Like where they were just putting a whole bunch of transfers down, and you could do up to 480, which is why the Stampinator 480 is called the Stampinator 480, which is the preview version of the Stampinator, the model of Stampinator that they had at the show. And they even had it on a rock press there as well, stamping prints. So if you haven't seen that, head on over to the Stalls TV YouTube channel, where if you check out that event recap from Impressions 2025, you'll see it in use. And I even talk with Jeff there on camera to get his perspective from it. But able to do 480 heat transfer prints per hour. Of course, I believe that's at a 15-second dwell time for the transfer, like if you're using a direct film transfer like Ultracolor Max. But absolutely incredible, right? So when you need that high capacity, quick turn for your heat transfers, you don't really have to do anything else. You just don't put screens on your press and send it around, and it will be stamping on them. So really powerful for decorators and really great to bring that into the Hotronix family. I know Hotronix is really excited to be manufacturing those units, just taking the quality and the support just to the next level for the solution that the Stampinator offers. So really cool for screen printers out there. If you're just heat printing, you're like, cool, that's great. The screen printer in me still thinks it's so cool. And that's one thing too, that like I am just an absolute nerd about any way you could put ink on a substrate. And here in the office, of course, I get to nerd out about printing every now and then. But when I go home, my wife could only take so much of me talking about t-shirts and printing and screen printing and heat transfers and direct to film. So I love going to events because everybody there at the trade shows just like me, and we could talk print all day and absolutely love it. So if you want to come to one of the shows and talk print, I'm your guy. Come find me. Another great thing, moving on from the Stampinator, that I saw at the Impressions Expo in 2025 is the apparel trend of heavyweight garments, right? These are the standard tees. I think it's super coincidental that this year Hanes is celebrating the 50th, yes, 50th anniversary of the beefy tee. And now the beefy tee's definitely been a staple in my decorating repertoire for a long time because it's been super popular with bands. It always has been, right? It's been a low cost, really good quality build construction on. It's great. And it's thick. It holds up to the wear. Got huge in streetwear markets and brands for clothing brands were using it, as well as excuse me, as well as those bands and music industry adjacent, regardless of if you were a metal band, hip hop, blues, or a punk band, right? You probably have a t-shirt that is a Hanes Beefy tee. So they're doing a huge celebration this year of all of the iconic shirts. Their tagline, I'm going to butcher it, but it's like, we make the shirt, you make it legendary, or you make it great, or you make it iconic, right? Because they were showcasing a whole bunch of stuff from like the 1990s Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan runs of the championships. They're all printed on Beefy tees, right? So it's cool to see that this timeless trend really come back this year. So I saw some great styles from Lane 7, which are super premium. The USSA, US Standard Apparel, had some great like super heavyweight options that almost feel like those it's a much nicer weave, but like those old cotton polos that used to be like really, really thick, but it's a t-shirt, right? Big wide neck collars. And that's what the trend kind of really is pushing forward to. We saw it kind of rise in resurgence too from comfort colors recently. Maybe in the past 4 or 5 years, where comfort colors has really kind of came to the top in terms of the garment dyed, the washed in vintage feel t-shirts that we are going to absolutely, if you haven't already gotten more requests from your customers to print on them, keep it in the back of your mind, because this is something that, like, especially those businesses or customers that you're working with, maybe they're a clothing brand and they're really looking to kind of stay relevant, mentioning, hey, heavyweight styles are really in right now. Bella canvas, right? Bella's always been this side seamed, like very, very premium t-shirt in the 4.8 ounces, right? These like lighter styles, or more midweights, let's not say super light, but these more midweight styles. They even have a new option for a heavyweight tee that is phenomenal, right? Next Level Apparel. I talk about the Next Level 3600 as another staple, right? That's always been my kind of like fashion forward, more premium t-shirt. And they're releasing some heavyweight styles that are awesome, right? But a lot of these heavyweight styles, whether they be the hoodies without drawstrings, hoodies without pockets, so you have that full printing area, or if you're watching us live right now, I have a crew neck sweatshirt essentially with a hoodie pocket. This is the Porton Company PC78 PKT, so it's the core fleece line, but it does have the hoodie pocket. We see these growing in popularity with schools, right? Because kids want the hoodie pocket, but you're not allowed to wear hoods in the building for security reasons, right? So now you get the crew neck style, you get the hoodie pocket, and this is stuff that, like, when you go to talk to a school, if that is your niche, if that's your market that you're working with, and you could start to suggest these things, yeah, when you go type in custom t-shirt printing online, you're going to be met with a huge catalog of apparel that you're going to have to sift through and be like, what's the best for me? What's going to be, what is this in my price range? All that could be completely eliminated by you just going and bringing some of these solutions to your customer, right? That is as simple as it is to build value. You don't always have to be, hey, we could kit this together with this and put a nice little onboarding box together, or hey, we could put some hang tags or inside tag prints. Yes, all of that is great to add value in your services, but just leveraging a little expertise or bringing home some of the trends that you saw at a trade show really help equip you and elevate you above the rising tide of competition out there, right? So that's really how you could easily, super easily just stand out in interactions with your customers. But Bella Canvas, Next Level, USSA, Lane 7 were some that I saw. And of course, I stopped by the Hanes Beefy Tee booth. But even Sanmar, right? You'll see these styles champion there. They brought Stanley Stella on, or Stella Stanley. Which one is it? I don't want to mess it up. It's Stanley Stella. Stella Stanley. Stanley Stella. But a much more kind of elevated, premium style. And 7.1 ounce freestyler heavyweight tee. Now, one thing that you'll notice for almost all of these heavyweight styles is they are much more natural or muted colors, right? Think that mocha Pantone color of the year, right? Where it's not super vibrant. And they, even if they aren't garment dyed or garment washed, they look like it, right? They kind of have those muted, washed, worn in colors. We've seen the mineral washing on a few of them, so it gives it almost that natural kind of distressed look. That favorite tee that's been in your closet for what, probably 5-6 years, but you could buy it brand new off the shelf and it's going to fit and wear just like that. Now, what I do love about like the garment dyed tees is that they're all, for the most part, pre-shrunk, which makes them absolutely wonderful to be able to print on, right? So you don't have any of that shrinking, and transfers look absolutely phenomenal on them. They feel great, especially in heavyweight like knit weaves where you kind of have a little chunkier stitch on it. When the ink of, like, say, a goof-proof screen printed transfer sits down in the fibers of that shirt, it looks absolutely incredible. It feels great to wear, and in the wash, it is super durable, right? So you kind of get the win-win-win-win on all accounts that you could be thrilled about as an apparel decorator, and your customer could be thrilled about on the back end as well. So, but if you head over to Stalls TV, you can see us stop by a lot of those booths that I mentioned from Bella and Lane 7. And Next Level and USSA. We even stopped by Tri Dry too. Activewear and is just a huge market. Performance wear, the polyesters. And I was actually asked after one of my sessions it was a DTF session that we were doing in Long Beach for the Impressions Expo. And somebody came up and said, hey, I'm really looking to expand into new markets. What do you think is one of the most lucrative right now? What do you think has the most untapped potential? And even though performance wear and athletic wear, athleisure even, has been a growing it's been getting a lot of momentum over the years, it has so much untapped potential because so many decorators are afraid to decorate on it because they don't know. They either don't have the tools that make it easy and accessible or efficient to print on, or they're ruining it by scorching it, right? A lot of it is synthetic materials. So when you get those synthetic polyesters or blended garments with spandex, modal, any of that stuff in there, they start to be really, really super heat sensitive where you could damage those garments. So just want to make sure that you could get the quality of decorating on those without ruining sometimes expensive garments, right? But that's why I think there's so much untapped potential, because even screen printers are gonna be like, nope, I'm not putting that down my dryer. I'm not screen printing on that, right? And that allows you to say yes. Position yourself as that. Yes, we are that solution. Hey, have you thought about doing some matching leggings too? Or why don't we complete the whole set? Anything, right? Or saying, hey, what about that minimal branding that we could do on the lower left hip of this tank top or whatever it might be? I know some great racer back styles that are really popular in the yoga market right now, right? All of this stuff you could bring and decorate with confidence. Tri Dry is one of those brands that, from fleece to just polyester shirts, kind of more in that like athletic jersey kind of feel of it, phenomenal, right? And they've been established in the UK for quite a while. And I got to spend a lot of time with Martin from Tri Dry talking about their styles and really where they see this, huge exponential growth in the industry in performance wear, and their process for making it easy for decorators to have success, where they actually go through and before they release a style, they test it with all different kinds of decoration methods, ensuring that their customers, right, the wholesale purchasers, the print shops out there, feel confident decorating the products that are going to meet the solutions for their customers, right? So absolutely love Tri Dry being able to do that. So that's definitely one reason to attend a show as well. Now, another kind of hot topic, and we're getting near the end of our time here. So, I want to definitely mention it, but automation and efficiencies seem to be such a hot topic talking to so many decorators, whether it be being able to take advantage of on-demand printing, right? Those minimal 1-2 pieces where a lot of shops have always said, no, it's not worth it. There's too many touch points. I have to sell it to still make market value. And I'm not going to make profit. It's going to disrupt my flow of what I already have going on. It's going to hurt my ability to be able to scale by making all these manual touch points. I don't want to take a PO if I have to go order one garment, right? Even the time it takes to go and order just that one garment has now eroded the entire profit margin of the job, right? So we see so many tools coming out to help decorators automate that, where you could stand up an online store and the garment's automatically batched and ordered from your supplier for you, right? And the benefit of that too is with that real-time inventory, now you don't have to sell back ordered products. You don't have to list that red next level 3600 that's out of stock in extra large, right? And somebody buys it and you go, oh man, I have to find a replacement now. Are they cool with a replacement? Am I going to have to end up refunding this at the end of the day? What do I do? Even just that hesitation has now impacted your profitability and your profit margin. So just being able to seamlessly run through all of that, from the production method to having the direct to film transfers even just automatically show up at your door too, right? There's all of these efficiencies, or being able to expand to laser engraving or embroidery using that same software that allows you to not have to go buy a laser engraving machine or an embroidery machine that now you have to learn how to use and pay somebody to digitize all these files for, right? You're able to take advantage of it seamlessly and integrate it in your business for not just only on-demand pieces and online stores, but also bulk orders, which makes it incredibly powerful for all decorators to be able to use. So definitely something to keep in mind. If you haven't heard about Stahl's Fulfill Engine, at PPAI, there was an awesome demo of all of it going on in one little enclosed space where you could buy a t-shirt on an iPad and then essentially just round the corner, see a label print out that says, hey, this is the extra large red next level 3600 that we need to decorate on. It gets tagged. It got scanned at a ProPlace IQ, which if you haven't seen a ProPlace IQ, when we talk about these efficiencies or automation, being able to have that projector project the image down at size. So you just have to take the transfer, align it to the light, and it's set. It's perfect. The only thing you have to do is load the t-shirt on straight, right? And you could train somebody to do that, especially when we talk about skilled labor being in high demand, which it has been essentially since the pandemic. And being able now to hire anybody and be able to train them to be a apparel decorating pro in just a matter of hours with the right equipment and the right tools, the right software, makes it incredibly powerful. I know for me, placement took a long time. To really master it, it took me years, right? And I still feel like I'm a student in some ways, and I definitely still misprint shirts every now and then, right? But it's definitely reduced over the time. But I don't think I've ever even came close to misprinting a shirt utilizing the ProPlace IQ on the dual air fusion, right? So I actually just did a run of 50 or 60 shirts just a couple weeks ago on the dual air fusion and made it easy, right? 50 or 60 shirts, I think I was done in 36 minutes. And so boom, right? That's profit potential and automation, right? So not just automating on the software side, right? That's definitely one way to build that scalable capacity, right? You're building your business for the future, right? So when you do grow, you don't have those growing pains. You're not trying to figure it out on the fly. You've done the homework up front to be able to support your growth in the future. And that is a great strategy I will 100% always stand behind, especially when it doesn't involve monetary investments, which essentially for any small business owner is risk, right? I want you to minimize your risks, maximize your demand. So you could charge, what you want to charge for it and profit, and you can monetize your time, right? So that's a simple success recipe, especially when I hear so many decorators saying, hey, I want to get into direct to film. I'm going to buy my own printer, right? I'm looking at buying printers. Okay, well, what are you looking at? Oh, I'm looking at putting $35,000, $40,000 into this machine. Okay, do you have the volume to support that? No, I'll go sell it. That's pause for concern, right? Build the demand first before investing. And so that allows you to be more agile, allows you to profit right off the bat, and allows you to solve problems for your customers instead of solving why your printer's not printing, right? So I talk to a lot of people who think that buying a direct-to-film printer is the only way to have success with direct-to-film, but actually talking to many large commercial and contract businesses, I was talking with Charlie and Nathan from Empress Designs down in Dallas. They're in the Dallas area, right? Huge contract shop, right? Huge contracts where they get orders for 1.5 million shirts, the huge contract shop, right? it has never crossed their mind. Well, it has crossed their mind because we discussed it, but they're like, it just doesn't make sense for us. Why would we have to support that in-house when we have the best quality by ordering it in, right? So, of course, they use Ultracolor Max direct-to-film transfers, but they use it for the quality. They use it for the consistency. They even ask that their customers sending them complete contract work, like it just, we'll send it to you, you decorate it, that they use Ultracolor Max transfers because when you have to pause and go, okay, why is this not working, right? You always need consistent, predictable, and repeatable results every single time. Consistent, predictable, repeatable results, right? Because that's going to keep your shop moving smooth. And as soon as you introduce one portion to it where it's like, wait, we have to cover and repress this, we have to do a double hit on this, right? And there's people out there spending $45,000, $50,000 on printers that now, that instead of doing a hot peel like they were, now with their inks and materials and the inconsistencies even still in the market in the inks and materials, that like you have to do double the amount of work, right? And it's like, oh yeah, well, we're saving 2 cents a square inch when we're looking at just purchasing it, but they're not accounting for the added energy cost, the climate control, right? The temperature and humidity to maintain these machines, where it's very similar to like direct to garment. When direct to garment came in the industry back in the early 2010s as like a actually commercially viable option, 2012, 2013, 2014-ish area, where like everybody was like, oh my God, it's going to kill screen printing. And they invested into it. And then the technology was unsupported. I still think direct to film is, I see like our back end of the research and development that we put in here at Stalls and Transfer Express. So I see how much work goes into maintaining that high quality, how much actual like scientific testing of surface density and pigmentation in the inks and pigment density and all this stuff that they do to test materials to ensure quality is going out the door that like many small decorators don't have the liberty to be able to do, right? So or the laboratories that they're actually doing chemistry in. So that's what causes a little bit of concern on my end. And also, having gone to these trade shows over the past 3, 4, 5 years that direct to film printers have been widely available, there's only 2 or 3 of them that are still there, right? There's always new models coming. There's always new technology. And, say you invest in something with the goal of 18 months, right? Which is pretty standard in any business. Like if you're going to make an investment, 18 months to pay it off is a good investment, right? But in 18 months, your technology is going to be completely outdated and the market's moved so much farther past that in terms of hand feel or colors or consistency or whatever the capabilities of your printer would be. So like, that's why I talk to decorators, Ty Kane and Craft and Manufacturing. Now, granted, they do a lot of headwear, but moving rapidly into the apparel space to insource some of the profits. I was talking to Ty, and he just got hooked up with a dual air fusion with a ProPlace heat press for the high capacity, right? He's working with a lot of breweries, schools out there in Colorado, and events, sporting goods and stuff. So like he's doing a little bit larger orders than what he had originally anticipated and keeping that profit in-house instead of outsourcing it, right? But, he identified the need. He had already had the demand when he made the investment. And that's what's a really smart investment. But he's the first person to say, like, I'm terrified to buy a piece of equipment I know is going to be obsolete, essentially, with just how fast the markets move. Now, a lot of people say, oh, the DTF bubble's coming to a pop, right? It's not sustainable at this growth rate. Something's going to happen. But I do think that like direct to film, the quality of heat transfers, even screen printed transfers these days have caught so they are just the preconceived notions of heat transfers being a inferior printing method are gone, right? Even we see that shifting with customers. Heat print technology is definitely here to stay and owns a larger share of shop than we ever have before, regardless if it's dimensional emblems. And here at Stalls, we are 100% behind it, right? We've been dancing to the beat for 30, 40, 90 years now, right? We've been dancing to the beat of heat print technology. And now we just have a lot more people on the dance floor dancing with us. So welcome, right? Whether you're a screen printer, an embroiderer, or just getting the business off the ground, right? We're here to support your growth. We've supported growth for many decorators over the past 90 years, and we're here to do it too. All right. no sales pitch. Dave's just talking about things and got excited about stalls and Hottronic stuff. That's okay. But as we talk about efficiency, where we originally were, it's not just the software, right? It's other things that you could put in place, whether it be simple solutions. I love the tag along platen, because I print the inside tag and the front of the shirt at the same time. It is automating that extra step, right? Easy rip, right? Having the transfers come pre-perforated to be able to easily separate them. How much time savings does that save you from cutting out? I know a lot of people are super proud of their gang sheets. I see it on social media all the time. Like, here's my 200-foot roll of transfers. Have fun cutting that out for 6 hours today, or paying somebody to do it, right? Because that's profitability. If the press isn't closing, right, you're not making money. That I want to be at the press. I want to be getting orders out the door, and just being able to have that stack right there, rip, and place, rip, place, right? And even integrated with that, there's the QR code on the side of it that you could scan without Fulfill Engine, just using that Hottronics cloud on a ProPlace, and there's your artwork, right? So now you don't even have to take the step to upload your artwork up. It's starting to automate these processes, right? And every single second counts. It absolutely does. It starts to really, really add up. So yeah, efficiency, 100% there. Love the ProPlace too, as we talk about efficiency, just being able to place the logo instead of, I know even when I'm filming a lot of content, if you see me on the YouTube channel, right, you see lay the transfer down, and occasionally we'll leave it in where I just am moving it a millimeter here, a millimeter there, right? Where like that extra 4, 5, 6, 10 seconds sometimes of like second guessing is completely eliminated, and you become much more profitable, right? So then that's at any scale, whether you're an at-home business, a side hustle, or you're running a commercial print shop, you're probably already very aware of every second if you're at that more, print shop level. But it's something that you always have to keep in mind at any stage through the game. So of course, I want to, I could talk about Fulfill Engine literally all day. I absolutely love it, but the ability to open up some of those revenue streams aside from the efficiency standpoint of it, I want to be able to offer web stores for my customers, right? So many, and like, that's the thing that when I talked about those lower quantity pieces, right? So like, or lower quantity jobs that your customers are asking for, where it's not like the 500 anymore. You need to be able to profitably do that, but you need to be able to say yes, because that could, if you say no, the 9 times out of 10, they're not going to be like, oh, okay, cool, we're going to place the 500 piece order then. If you can't do that, that's okay. No, 9 times out of 10, they're going to go find somebody else who can, right? So being flexible and of course, to a certain degree, right? If you absolutely can't do it, or it's going to completely throw a wrench in all of your processes, then absolutely that's something to consider. But setting yourself up with the tools to help you say yes to more is going to help keep your customers happy. And as we see the shift to e-commerce, right? And we talk about Fulfill Engine, and the ability to easily stand up web stores becomes such a huge benefit to decorators to be able to have the ability to say yes, right? Like, hey, I saw this other company that I was talking to. They said they set up a web store for their employees just to order stuff. So like, we didn't have like sizes that nobody actually wears, and we're not paying for it to sit in a box in my office for 2 years before I end up just throwing it out, right? Like, I want to be a little bit smarter with my investments. I'm talking like I'm the owner of a landscaping company or whatever, right? So like, could I just set up a web store where like I could have my employees go and just buy stuff online, and then you just charge me? Yes. Yeah. Because yeah, he might still go, okay, well, let me buy 24 shirts this time, right? He's probably going to keep looking for solutions that are going to give him that online store experience that he heard about, that he wants to look into, right? So being able to just say, yeah, absolutely, I could get that done for you. And then, oh, hey, it's summertime. We got the big order. Here's 500. I don't want to put those on there. I just want to buy, I want to order them. I want it to be a little bit cheaper than the per piece, but I'm okay with the money savings and the eco-conscious of like this stuff not going to the landfill, right? Or having to go donate at Goodwill. So, important stuff that you could do there. All of these efficiencies and all of these things are super on the top of decorators' minds. But I want to appreciate you guys for hanging out. I'm going to cut us a little short today. We've definitely got some stuff we could cover next time. In just a few weeks, we're going to be getting together again in Atlantic City. I know that the DTF Expo in Phoenix is coming up. Like I mentioned, the Decorated Apparel Expo in Nashville in May. There's tons of ones before then. I'm just thinking of the ones that I'll be headed to, at least tentatively now. Printing United this year, I believe, is in Orlando, Florida, in the fall. Same with the Impressions Expo. And then I think there's a few more in there. You could always head over to stalls.com and find the events page that has all of the events listed that we're going to throughout the year. So if you could come hang out, like I mentioned, we could nerd out about printing. But I really appreciate everybody hanging out today. Hopefully we covered something that was real nice, enlightening, to be able to kind of open your eyes to new trends or technology, or at least kind of get you plugged in a little bit more in tune with the industry and what decorators, just like you, just like me, are talking about here in 2025, the challenges that they're overcoming. And yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to thank everybody for listening here today to the Heat Press for Profit podcast. Of course, all of the content here at Stalls and Transfer Express is built to help inspire you and your business succeed, reach your goals. We understand goals look differently for everybody, right? So we want to provide you with the tools to be confident in your abilities with your heat press and decorating apparel, so that you can make profit. You could be that passionate creative that connects the dots for your clients, right? Builds those relationships, builds that trust, and allows you to do what you do best, right? Whether it is printing some rad t-shirts, whether it's designing, right? Whether it's that creativity coming to life, you're my people, right? And or just servicing your local community, local sports, getting involved, whatever your mission is, right? We're here to support you. So until next time, I'm Dave. Happy pressing.